Hello crafters, it's time to do some more stash busting. Hey, I'm Sarithri and I've been running a Choose Your Floss Adventure challenge all of June. Basically what it boils down to is I have a bunch of random branded embroidery thread that I don't have a specific use for, so I've decided to learn some new crafts to justify using it up. If you'd like to join me, there's a link down below to the full challenge and over 30 different crafts that you can do with embroidery thread. Today we'll be tackling crazy quilting. I have a few plans for this, so let's jump into that. Basically, my plan is to make a small sewing kit. I have found this tutorial online, the Goody Goody Binding Kit by Lella Boutique, and I thought it was pretty dang cute. So I'm gonna be making one, except mine's gonna be bedazzled with embroidery and random bits and bobs, and the outside's going to be crazy quilted rather than just plain quilted. Because I'm using the leftover threads from the Stardew Valley cross-stitch kit testing I did, this is the color palette I'm working with. It's not my typical color palette, it's a little bit more muted, but I have a bunch of fabrics that I think might work well together. So let's figure out how to put those together. I have collected a bunch of random scraps from my stash, as well as any fabrics that I have, mostly fat quarters that I think might go with the color palette we're working with. I also remembered to turn off autofocus. You're welcome. Anyway, the binding kit we're making, I have spent some time laying out all of these fabrics together and seeing how I want to do it, because we need inside fabric and we need a pocket fabric, and that'll have a pocket too, and then like this will be a pouch over here. So kind of in this way I've arranged these, and I've gone through so many different iterations and combinations of fabric and just spent a whole lot of time. I'll put up some pictures of some of the layouts I did not go with. But since the inside's not the part I'm going to be quilting, I've gone ahead and cut out the fabrics that I'm sticking with that I thought worked well together. A backing piece, pouch over here, like so, pocket over here, come on, like so. We have a little felt square to stash our needles. And rather than a strawberry, I'm doing a leaf to kind of go with the fall colors, which is what we'll be storing my scissors. Where did I put my scissors? Scissors. Probably not with the scissor fob on there, but you get the idea. Scissors will slide into this pocket to store, and then this can be folded up to take away. So that's the inside colors, right? The outside, oh, I forgot the binding. This will also be, I had the most of this fabric, so that'll be the binding around the edges. So we've got a lot of muted colors, but mostly autumn tones. So that's kind of the color scheme. So here's the outside piece of batting that I'll be using. I did patchwork that together because I didn't have a big enough piece in my stash still, and I didn't want to buy new batting for this. Here's our thread color palette. If you're not familiar with crazy quilting, basically we'll be taking some scraps, arranging them on this batting, and then stitching it down using embroidery thread to make fun patterns. Instead of a fabric sash around it, I'm gonna just be using ribbon because I'm lazy and I have this on hand. So this will be across the middle and will wrap around to tie together. So that I need to keep in mind needs to work well with it. Without further ado, I'm going to switch to time-lapse mode to do some arranging of scraps, maybe cut some new scraps if I want different colors, and we'll see what we can come up with here. I want the batting to be covered, and I can cut off excess, but I want to also make sure that there's enough overlap in all of the individual pieces. It's not a ton of that, but should tie it into the inside. Where are we gonna fit this little heart? Probably in here. Alright. So let's take these off. Now that we know generally where they're gonna go, and I have photos in case I forget. And we need to tack this all down so that we can then stitch it together decoratively. So I'm going to pin it first so that I can pick it up without things sliding around, and then we'll do some basting stitches. Also trying to make sure that I am piercing the batting so that that doesn't move around either. I think this is going to be my layout. It's a lot of straight lines, but I've tried to break it up where I can, and the embroidery should help mix it up a little bit. Alright, time for basting. This is probably going to take a while. Oh, this one's not even attached. Hold on. Probably going to re-iron that later because I was pretty loose with my interpretation of middle. But it will give us a good idea of how much this is covering up, because it'll be right on the border. Yeah, so I should move that heart up if I want it to be visible. Let's see about this side. The batting is actually right here, so that heart's not visible at all. We'll need to move that. Let's move that over here. This is why we check. Yeah. What about from the top, though? That could stand to be moved down a bit. Let's move it down here. Because this batting line up here, that'll cover that. This is just a little pop of color over here, and that's fine. But we can't see the flowers, so let's try. And let's get a different scrap for the corner. And that will be basically entirely covered up, so it really doesn't matter. Alright. That looks good. That looks good. That looks fine. We need to move that up, though. Yeah. Glad I remembered to test that. One last check. Where did my measuring tape go? I have so many measuring tapes, and I always manage to misplace them. Don't know how. I have no idea where my measuring tape went, so Different one. Alright, where am I at? 3.5. Let's make sure it still looks good with the ribbon. Slightly covers up the moon and sun, but that it's okay. It's not like right across their face or anything, so it should be good. And I can always put the ribbon on slightly lower than center. It doesn't have to be perfect. But that should work. Let's get that out of the way. Nice. I'm gonna start basting. I don't know how much of it I will film, and it might be an entirely different day when I come back to embroider. We'll see. Because this is already going on an hour and a half just figuring out how to arrange this. The main reason I wanted to rush and get the first video of this series out at the beginning of June was because I knew this one was gonna take quite a bit of time. So once I get this all basted and I take out the pins, I can work on this throughout the next week or so to actually embroider it. Some of it I'll film, some of it I'll be doing on breaks at work or while watching TV with my partner, but we'll get it done before the end of the month, hopefully. Alright, it is basted. Very loose running stitches, just to keep them in place while I embroider. So I'm gonna take a break, research some embroidery stitches, and then come back to at least do a couple of seams on video. Alright, I'm back. I have taken a break. I'm ready to do some embroidery. I pulled out some beads in case I want to add them. These actually glow in the dark. These actually might be better suited for the color palette. I also found some sequins and a gold that might help bring in some of these gold colors in. And I'm just gonna... For now, I just want to get some color on here to give you an idea of what's happening. So we've made a cute little joining stitch there. That way later when I take off the basting stitches, that fabric is still secure in place. So the plan is to go through and start filling in all of the seams with the decorative stitches in contrasting colors. So I will get to that. And then I will check in with you in a bit. Hello. It's been several days, almost a week really, and yes, I am sitting in the dark because I have a major headache. But I wanted to show you how far I've gotten. I've been working on it whenever I can. I did tack the tatting pieces to it. I have done most of the seams. I think there's about 7 or so left. I embroidered this cute little spider bro here that might get covered up with the ribbon, but I still love him. I did some beaded embroidery by adding little beads along this little track here. There's some beads Up here with the lazy daisies, I will definitely probably overlay better footage of this once I can actually stand being in lighted areas. My favorite so far is probably these little leaves along the top here. You'll also see where I tacked on some iridescent ribbon with a few different types of stitches. Where's the other one? Here's one. There's also sequins on here to give this a little bit of a sheen. So I'm liking how this is turning out. We've got a few different crafts represented here. We have embroidery and tatting and quilting. I wanted to somehow incorporate darning into this because that's the other thing that we learned this month. So I'm thinking maybe one of these squares down here, the plain ones, should have just like a patch of darning on it. We'll see. But that's my midway check-in. I'm going to get back to working on this. Oh, here's the back, by the way, if you're curious. It's a complete mess. I have not done anything with the interior pieces. I had planned on maybe embroidering some stuff on them when assembling it, or before assembling it, or partially assembling it. Yeah, but I haven't done that, so maybe next couple days. I did do some cross stitch because that's my main craft. So I did a border seam that is crosses to kind of nod to that. And I will get back to it. Alright, it's another day and another update. I am pretty much done with all of the seams. I think that's all of them. Did I miss any? I don't see any. Now I just need to go back and start doing some embellishing. This seam is my favorite so far, the flowers. And look, this ghosty has a little hat. Isn't that cute? I do love the sequins also. Maybe I'll add some more sequins here and there. I do want to go in and do some more decorative embellishments, kind of like the spider, rather than just focusing on the seams. But here we are so far. I haven't done a lot on for the inside. The only thing that I have done is did some chain stitching on this leaf. I might be too close to the edge. We'll see when I sew it together. But that's ready to go. And then I think I can do some embroidery on the main pocket as well, as my plan. But we'll see how much I have time for. This is already like 15 hours or so of work, which, I mean, it's not bad for doing it all by hand. But I love how it's coming out, so... Alright, I am back once again with one last update for this video. I have finished stitching on the outer piece. Or at least what I'm planning to do. I added some cool little buttons over here and some like faux sashiko circles. Did a little bit of doodling here. I did add a little patch of darning. And yeah, so I think that's done. I think I'm done with the outside. It's going to get turned into a little booklet type thing. Inside there's going to be a zippered pouch and then a pocket and such. So here's what it's looking like. This is going to be essentially the cover and the inside pocket, and then this is going to be the back side of it. I do plan to have a ribbon attached that will go around approximately the middle, maybe a little bit higher just to not cover up the spider, but that's kind of how it's gonna go. Like right there. So that's the plan there. However, this has already taken entirely too long, and I wanted to get this video out by mid-month. So this is where we're leaving it. We have the top, and I will probably have overlaid some actual footage rather than the grainy webcam footage. And now my task for the next week and a half is going to be to assemble the inside. I have all of my pieces ready. I showed that off at the beginning. And I'm going to do some embroidery on these as well. I'm thinking with the little pocket, so one of these sides is going to be a pocket that you can put stuff in. And I want to embroider something here on the front. Haven't decided what yet. And that part I'm going to be doing in a video at the end of the month. So the end of the month video will include a little bit about my embroidery exploration, because I've only done cross stitch really. I haven't done straight up freehand embroidery. So that'll be fun. It's a floss adventure, right? We're going on a floss adventure. And then that video will also include me fully assembling this pouch, as well as a end of the month recap on what I thought about my adventure and which of these crafts I enjoyed and would like to do again. So I'm tentatively expecting that first week of June, but we'll see. I hope to see you there, and whatever you decide to do in the meantime, keep creating.